Satnam, good morning. So today we're going to be practicing some sun salutations, and I know we don't have much time, so I'm not going to go onto one of my tangents. But this is a great yoga flow. It consists of 21 different asanas or postures, and it's a really great balancing, strengthening, and relaxing yoga flow. So let's set this phone down, and before we begin, remember to take your shoes off on the mat, and we'll bring our hands into Jyan Mudra with the thumb and index finger touching the back of the wrist to the knees. Eyes are closed. Just doing a brief body scan before we open our practice. Noticing where you're at, rather that is consciously telling yourself where your physical body is, or maybe noticing what thoughts or feelings are present for you in this moment. And not trying to push or fix or change anything. Simply taking a few breaths and gently observing where you are, what's present for you at this moment. And let's elongate through the spine, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, and focusing our eyes up at this third eye, that spot right in the middle of the forehead, just above the brow line. And we'll begin deepening the breath, inhaling through the nose, and imagine you're pulling that breath all the way down to your navel center. That way your diaphragm and your lungs are expanding and you're taking in a complete breath. And let's bring our hands into prayer mudra, right at our heart center. And we'll open our practice chanting Om 3 times. Remember, if you are comfortable chanting along, you are more than welcome to. If you're not comfortable with chanting, you can listen, or you can hum along, or simply think of something that feels good to you, whether it's love or peace, whatever feels right and resonates for you at this time. Let's inhale and exhale, and inhale to chant. And keeping hands together, let's raise our arms up overhead. Imagine you're pulling all that beautiful heart energy with you. Allow it to fill the space between your arms. And exhale, release your arms and imagine you're drawing that light around you. So we're going to bring our hands back to our knees and start our Sufi grinds. Remember, we're inhaling forward, exhaling, rounding back, continuing to elongate through the spine, even as we go forward. So we're not bringing the heart down to the ground, simply bringing it forward. I like to imagine that there's this like a spoon going down our spine, and it's like you're stirring a pot. We're going in one direction. Remember, eyes are closed. We're focusing up at that third eye. Now continue to encourage you throughout this practice to focus up, to practice that eye drishti, or that eye focus, as a way to really practice focusing your mental energy. Now, there's a lot of things outside of us that ask for our attention. And during our practice, we can start to practice that choice of where do we want to put that focus? What do we want to give our energy to? One more time in this direction. Inhale to center. Exhale, release, and continue that same movement going in the opposite direction. Again, shoulders pulled away from the ears, eyes are closed, focusing up at that third eye, drawing these circles with the torso around the hips. And one more time, inhaling to center. Imagine you're pulling that breath up your spine. And exhale, release. Let's do some nice shoulder rolls. Inhaling the shoulders up to the ears and exhale, rolling them down the spine. I like to imagine as I'm rolling my shoulders down the spine that I'm releasing any tension that I might be holding in my shoulders. We tend to, as upright animals, we tend to hold a lot of tension right at the base of the neck. Physical tension due just to the head being on top of the spine, but then also that mental tension. You know, if we're worried or stressed, if you find yourself thinking about something you're worried or stressed, you might notice that your neck feels a little tense, like you want to roll it in some circles. And that's your body's way of saying, hey, I'm feeling this right here. One more time. Let's inhale up. And exhale, release. Imagine all that tension melting into the ground. We'll do that one more time. I'm going to show you. I like to, as I inhale, I bring my shoulders up, and as I exhale, I like to splay my fingers, and like I'm surrendering, I'm letting go of that tension, pouring it into the ground. Okay, let's do some neck rolls. Inhaling the left ear over to the left shoulder. Exhale, rolling that chin down to the chest, bringing the right ear over to the right shoulder. Very gently bringing that left ear back over to the left shoulder and continuing that movement just for a few times. Remember, we're taking in a complete breath. And one more time in this direction, and very gently switching directions. And one more time, let's inhale to center. And we're going to do just one more warm up before we start into our sun salutations. So staying here in easy pose, you can go ahead and stretch out the legs real quick, shake them out. We've been in easy pose for a while now. Remember, you can do this at any time. If you ever feel like you need to move your legs, you can always shake them out. And then when you're ready, coming back into easy pose, and we're going to rest our left arm on the floor as we reach up with that right arm and over to the left side. Just getting a nice stretch in this right side body here. Inhaling back up. Exhale, bringing that right arm, that right forearm down to the ground as we reach over with that left arm over to the right side. And continuing that movement, inhaling up and exhale over. Do this just a few more times to each side. And then hop on into our sun salutations. All right. And on that next journey over to the left side, let's go ahead and pause here. I know you can't see my hands on the screen, but my fingers are loose. Okay, I'm not making fists. I'm really stretching out through my fingertips. And I'm keeping that heart open. Notice if you're wanting to go forward or slouch. Okay. And one more time over to this right side. Getting a nice stretch in that left side body. Reaching up through the fingertips, but keeping the heart open. And all right. Now let's come standing up for our sun salutations. So we're going to do 3 sun salutations. We might try for 5 if we have enough time. The first one I will talk you guys through. We'll move a little slower through that, and then we'll do the next 2 at a little bit more of a quicker pace. But I'll still continue to talk you through it. So let's very gently come standing up and coming to the top of your mat. We're coming into mountain pose. So our feet are flat on the mat, toes, pointing forward. And we're going to bring our hands into prayer mudra. Shoulders rolled away from the ears. And inhale, the arms up over the head, a slight back bend. And exhale, we release our arms. We swan dive down, keeping the arms parallel to the ground as we're coming down until we come into this full forward bend. So our fingertips are touching either the ground, or your feet or your shins, wherever you are at this moment, that's exactly where you need to be. But we're letting our hips reach up for the ceiling. So we're getting a nice stretch behind the legs. And our arms and torso are reaching for the earth. Letting gravity do most of the work here. And let's bring our hands to our shins, reaching out through the top of the head, flattening the back into this half table. Remember, shoulders pulled away from the ears. Inhale. And exhale, release, coming back down into that full forward bend. Let's step back with that right foot coming into a low lunge. So in our low lunge, shoulders pulled away from the ears. This left knee is right over the left ankle, that left foot. And that right leg can either be strong behind us with the heel pointing up to the ceiling, or if you need to be a little closer to the ground, you can always drop that right foot. And coming from low lunge, we're going to bring this left leg to meet the right in plank. And let's go ahead and drop the knees, lowering ourselves down into surrender. And then pushing ourselves up into cobra. So feet are flat on the mat behind us. Oops, I'm going to scooch over so you can scooch up so you can see that. And our hips are reaching for the ground. And we're elongating through the spine. The chin is up, heart is open. And from a cobra, we're going to tuck our toes and then push our hips up towards the ceiling. The heels are reaching for the ground. Hips are reaching for the ceiling. And the head is hanging loose. Do some neck rolls here. Make sure that you can move your neck. If you cannot move your neck, you may need to turn your armpits towards each other. And coming from downward facing dog, we're going to go ahead and plant this left heel, bringing the right leg up and swinging it on through to the top of the mat, back into that low lunge. Again, if you need to be a little closer to the ground, you can totally drop that that left knee, excuse me. The right knee is over the right foot. That left heel is pointing up to the ceiling. We're going to bring the left foot to meet the right, back in full forward bend. And then bringing our hands back to our shins. Again, reaching out through the top of the head, flattening the back into this half table. Inhale. And exhale, back into full forward bend. And then rolling yourself up, back into mountain. So you've just completed one full sun salutation. We're going to definitely do 2 more, possibly 5 more, but I think we'll just stick with 3 today. So coming back into mountain pose. Hands in prayer mudra. Elongating through the spine. Shoulders pulled away from the ears. Chin is up, face is forward. Inhaling the arms up. Slight back bend. Exhale, swan dive down into that full forward bend. Allow your torso to hang here. Your hips are reaching for the ceiling. Bringing hands to your shins, reaching out through the top of the head, flattening the back. Inhale. And exhale, back down into full forward bend. Bringing your hands to the mat. Even if that means you need to bend your knees a little bit, that's okay. We're going to step back with this left foot, low lunge. Dropping that left knee if you need to. We're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left, lowering ourselves down into Shavasana, or into surrender, excuse me. And then pushing ourselves back up into Cobra. Hips are reaching for the floor. Feet are flat behind us. Chin is up, face is forward, heart is open. And we're gonna start preparing for downward facing dog. Displaying the fingers so that you can grip the mat with each fingertip. We tuck our toes, pushing the hips up towards the sky. You can go ahead and pedal your heels here in downward facing dog, bringing one knee down towards the mat and then the other. Just getting a deeper stretch in the back of the leg. And then let's go ahead and plant that right foot, bringing the left leg up and swinging it on through to the top of the mat. Low lunge. Again, you can drop that right knee if you need to be a little closer to earth. And then bringing that right foot to meet the left in a full forward bend. Bringing hands to the shins, reaching out through the top of the head, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, flattening the back. Inhale. And exhale back down into full forward bend. Inhale. And exhale, come rolling up, roll those shoulder blades away from the ears. Bring hands back into prayer mudra, back into mountain pose. Woo. And let's do that one more time. Taking a couple of long, deep breaths here in mountain pose. Feeling your palms pressing together. Feeling your heart beneath your thumbs. Inhaling the arms up over the head. Slight back bend. Exhale, swan dive down. Full forward bend. Bringing hands to the shins, reaching out for the top of the head, flattening the back. Inhale. And exhale back down into full forward bend. Let's step back with that right foot into that low lunge. And then bringing the left to meet the right into plank. And lowering yourself down, pushing up into Cobra. Roll the shoulder blades away from the ears as you flatten out the feet. Chin is up, face is forward, heart is open. Let's tuck the toes, pushing the hips up, back into downward facing dog. Heels are reaching for the ground, hips are reaching for the ceiling. And since this is our last sun salutation, we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet into this full forward bend. I'm going to move forward a little bit. Bringing hands to the shins, reaching out through the top of the head, flattening the back. Inhale. And exhale back down into that full forward bend. And rolling yourself back up into mountain pose. Walking to the top of your mat. Finish your practice. Oh, perfect. Taking a moment here. Really honoring the courage and the strength it takes to be on this path, to take one more step forward on this journey of healing and remembering your divine self. And we'll close with 3 Satnams. I am truth. Inhale and exhale. And inhale to chant. Satnam. 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 Peace to all, light to all, and love to all. Satnam. That was a nice practice, you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you later. Satnam.